4 years ago, Apple announced that it was going to make all of its facilities run entirely on renewable energy. In an exclusive, Apple told Vice News that it's 96% of the way toward that goal. And now it's setting another industry-changing objective, making all of its products from recycled or renewable resources.
Before she was Apple's VP of Environmental Policy and Social Initiatives, Lisa Jackson served as EPA administrator under President Obama. And before that, she trained as a chemical engineer. Do you ever miss the lab?
I miss research. I think as you get older, you realize it would have been cool to just stay around the lab for a lot longer time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's really nice about this lab is it's sort of where Apple and the environment meet the customer.
Or meet what the customer does to their products.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
At the Apple Environmental Testing Lab, a team of chemists and toxicologists use unusual methods to gauge the impact of their products on users and the environment they live in. A laser similar to the one used on the Mars rover vaporizes elements to test for safety. Apple Watch bands and AirPods are stress tested in beakers of synthetic human sweat. A technician at the lab makes half a gallon of the stuff each day. How does this lab fall into your announcement about safety, renewables, and being more environmentally friendly?
Part of what we're trying to do, especially this year, is start to close the loop, to use more recycled materials, to mine less from the earth, we say. And in order to do that, you have to have a really tight handle on what's in the products. And the materials that you're using.
But Apple's plan on how to exactly close that loop is admittedly a work in progress. To do that, to 100% use renewable resources and recycled metals and minerals, that sounds nearly impossible. What's the timeline for this, and how are you going to make that happen?
So we're not going to announce a timeline. We're actually doing something we rarely do, which is announce a goal before we've completely figured out how to do it. I think when people are used to Apple announcing something, then tomorrow we're all there. Mm-hmm. So we're a little nervous, but we also think it's really important because as a sector, we believe it's where technology should be going.
Their renewable energy goal didn't have a timeline either, but they've nearly met it over 4 years. This, however, is going to be harder. Not only does Apple have to put out the same quality product using recycled materials, but they'll have to figure out how to take apart and melt down old phones. Enter Apple's twin iPhone disassembling robots, Liam.
Liam works on iPhone 6S and can do about 2.4 million phones a year.
And takes it apart component by component.
Yeah, when you're done, you see a pile of cameras, a pile of vibrator motors, a pile of enclosures. And so they can then say, okay, now that I know what you're giving me and I have, certainty around that, let me go and do my thing, which is, separate the material even further and hopefully get it back into the chain.
What effect will having a company like Apple basically turn away from mining have on the mining industry?
I think it's not going to happen quickly, so it's a transition. Part of the reason of talking about it now is so people can start to think about the opportunities for them in this business. Who knows more about recovering metals than people who mine them? And those will probably be some of the folks we'll end up working with.
This is a tenuous time for the agency Jackson once led, but that doesn't seem to affect where she thinks the world is headed.
I'm from New Orleans, so we love a parade. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel like this, there is a parade happening. We're a part of it. And I don't think that parade's going to stop because, we here in the U.S. are maybe moving to the back of the line.
Do you think the Trump administration is fighting against the flow of that parade?
I worked over 2 decades at EPA. Mm-hmm. Really smart people, really dedicated public servants who recognize that it's always been technology that gives us, economic growth and a cleaner environment. And I know for us at Apple, we're looking for clean energy. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of companies that are moving in that direction as well. And I don't think they're going to move back.